Hi guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to Older and Somewhat Wiser. Okay, I am Wayin.
And I'm Simi.
Yes, so this is episode 2 of season 2. Oh my gosh, how are you feeling, Simi?
Very excited. How
Yeah.
are you feeling?
I'm very good. I'm very excited as well. We have a few good things planned for the next few weeks, so stay
we do.
tuned. Yeah, how's everyone? I hope you guys are well and you enjoyed the last episode. We're very we're very excited to hear from you, to let us know what do you think, and if you have any other requests, as always you can always hit us up and let us know here wherever you're watching this or listening to the podcast. So you're able to find the podcast Older and Somewhat Wiser on every place that you listen to your podcast on. So Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and we also have Castbox, and
we're on YouTube.
We're also on YouTube. We'll be accompanied by video, and follow us on our social medias as well.
Yeah, please do, because we will be posting snapshots and comments, some fun little tidbits.
Exactly. So we are on Twitter and Instagram
and TikTok.
And
we're going to be
TikTok.
posting more on TikTok
Yes.
as well. So follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Do okay, perfect. So now you guys know where to find us and where to come back for more.
Exactly.
Okay, so today's topic that we're going to be talking about is kind of related to what we were talking about in our last episode, when we were talking about our job hunting and what we were doing for the past few months.
Yeah.
So I guess specifically this video is more about having the patience and
the long game.
Yeah,
playing the long game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like looking at things in the long run instead of jumping into something that you're possibly not sure about, or out of desperation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Out of fear, like you're not going to get something better.
Oh yeah,
That's the wrong reason to kind of jump into any sort of situation, especially if you're going to end up regretting it, because there's always going to be more opportunities. Like, people need to realize that it's not just, I feel like it can be scary though.
yeah
It can be scary, and I understand doing that, especially over the last year. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the world is going to turn into, so you feel like you'd rather have something than end up spending months without anything at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes you also need to weigh up your options and be in a position to be like, I am in a place where I can afford to not rush and jump into a situation. Like, I can afford to wait a little bit longer. You know.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like it's like you have to distinguish between that feeling of fear and that feeling of like maybe like sometimes, you know, feeling of thinking that you're not good enough, that you're not going to get something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So because you are good enough and you will always get something else, trust me. But it's just like establishing the fear of like feeling like that you're scared about an opportunity, or are you afraid that you won't get something else?
Yeah.
So it's those two that I guess those two kind of feelings that we're talking about today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess so. To start off, maybe like I'll talk about how I maybe like took it quite easy. Not really, like it was a tough time for me as well, but I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to work with and what I didn't want to work with, or I didn't want to work. So I wanted to work in a really lovely company, wanted to work in an exciting environment where people get to learn and exercise their creativity without judgment and people looking down on you. Like, that's the environment that I always envisioned myself to be in. And it was really tough when I was looking through the job, they all kind of said like, oh yeah, like we're a great environment and all that, and it's very exciting, but I wanted to specifically work in a sustainable company, or like a company that like looks towards the long run of things, and in a company that I would enjoy. So maybe in a in the fashion, or sorry, not the fashion industry, in the beauty industry. I love fashion, but I don't see myself working in there. yeah, so like that was what I was specifically looking for, and I found that it was quite like there was not a lot of opportunities for like a beginner, like in Ireland anyway, that I found. But there's actually a lot of opportunities, but it's just like maybe it might not be your first job. So that's what I will say. Like you have to get started somewhere, like maybe by doing an internship somewhere else and learning the basics. Like you already have the basics, but it's kind of like learning even more the skills that you're going to be using in like your future companies, and like having that on paper, which I think is a bit silly, but that's another episode for another day. So that's with me as well. In all honesty, I didn't apply for too many jobs. I applied for the few jobs that I thought that, you know, that I would be able to work in. So I applied, for some reason I applied to the Central Bank of Ireland. I like randomly. Like I was like, do you know what would be so good if I could help with the financial situation? I don't even study fine. I like. So in my final year of my undergraduate, I know you were able to choose between different specialisms: management, marketing, HR, and finance, and I specifically ran away from finance. I don't know why I thought I would apply for the Central Bank, but I did get I didn't get an interview, but I got like a call back to do one of those like assessment tests. They were fine. They were really difficult, and then when I was doing those assessments tests, I realized, oh, this is not
for me.
This is not it for me. And so I was applying to like the Central Bank of Ireland, the AIB graduate program. I was like, oh yeah, these are nice. These are stable. You know,
that's the big word, isn't it? Stability.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, these are nice. And so that didn't work out. And then I also applied to one or two kind of like social enterprises, social enterprise companies or organizations. They were grand as well. I got interviews in them, but I didn't get it. Now what I do is afterwards I would look back at who they hired, like maybe 5 to 6 years, 5 to 6 months later, when that popped into my head, because when I apply for things, I actually really wanted them. So if there was something that I was like meh about, I generally wouldn't apply. And I feel like I'm at a very privileged, I'm very privileged to be able to do that. But so like because I intentionally am interested in these certain jobs, I would go back 5 to 6 months later to find out who they've hired. And every time I look back, they've always hired people who have had 5 to 6 years of work experience for an entry level role. So I think that's just anyway.
That's another qualm I have, that a lot of people have, but again, that's a huge conversation when we talk about entry level and expectations. Like, stop saying entry level if you want people with 5 to 6 years experience. Are you going to be paying them entry level money? I don't think you are.
Well, yeah, it was entry level money,
but then at the same time I'm just like, but like, isn't that quite unfair? It's quite unfair that
like you're paying such a low, not a low, but you're asking for entry level, but ultimately you do hire someone that has years of experience, and then you're paying them that sort of like,
you're hiring entry level as a way to be able to get somebody with a lot of experience without actually having to like pay them what they're due.
But I know that during that time when I was applying, I know it was like in the 2020s, like, you know, 2020. It was very difficult. Like, a lot of people,
difficult to find something.
A lot of people, like, even if it was something, you know, like lower than what they would usually get, or like they would just go for it because, you know, it's a nice company or it's something exciting to get into something new. So I understand that, but when I look back on each of those social enterprises that I had applied for, and each of one of them hired someone with a few more years of experience when they advertised the role as just, you know, like a normal role, an executive, I was just like what? And except for one establishment, they didn't do that.
They actually
hired someone that's like maybe graduated a year after or before me, so I was like, that's acceptable. But exactly, for some people, like, I don't know why they've hired like someone who has 5 years of experience in an executive role, but that's just my opinion. Maybe they were very charming, I don't know. But yeah, like, what were we talking about before I went off on a tangent? So I basically really took my time in kind of looking through the jobs and the job market. And at the time I was doing a great internship as well, in a completely different industry, in this professional service trade in a law firm. So I was helping out with digital marketing there, and that was really, really fun. And I was also working my retail job. Yeah, I kept both of them because I wanted to.
You're booked and busy.
Yeah, literally, that was what, I don't know. Yeah, so I felt like I wasn't ready to let my other job go. So I was working on the both of them, but I was happy. I was really happy in the both of them because I was going where I thought I wanted to go.
Yeah.
But because I had the both of them, and I was doing my internship, I really didn't apply to anything else. I was so busy, but I was patient, I guess. And because while I was doing the both of them, I didn't see anything that I fancied. Like, I would apply for stuff, of course, but then I would like not get it.
Yeah, that was our biggest issue, because we were having that conversation. I'm just like, I'm not finding anything I actually genuinely want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's different to like find the roles and then you're not getting them, but I'm like, where are the roles to find? Like, I can't even find them to begin with. It was very difficult, but again, that kind of attests to like patience and like the long game.
And like, you did eventually find a role that you liked at that time. You actually did.
Yeah.
So it came at a time when you were patient. It came at
the right time when we were patient, but even before then I was tested because I got another role, which, to be honest, it wasn't great. It really wasn't. And they really wanted, that's the whole thing with desperation what we're talking about as well, because sometimes you're going to end up in a bad situation because you feel like, I mean, I understand like desperate wanting to have something, but that can lead to them people wanting to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to companies, they will, if they can, they will take advantage of you. They'll see what they can get. And they were literally rude. They were disrespectful. They were taking the piss. They really were.
They really were.
They were trying to pull the wool over my eyes.
Yeah,
I was like, not today.
They were, honestly.
They were terrible. And they even tried to like change last minute, took off 2k from like what they were offering me. Like, it was actually just a disaster. But at the same time, even with all that happening, I was like, well, but what if I don't get? And it was kind of that thing. And I guess, again, what you said earlier, it's something that we obviously acknowledge, that we were in a situation where we actually could be like, no, I can wait, because sometimes you're in a situation where you can't. But for us, we were just talking about how, like, if I had kind of like been too scared, because I think a lot of it is fear, like the fear, like, I'm not going to get something else. If you got that in the first place, why aren't you able to get something else, you know?
Exactly. And if you had said yes to that, I mean, you could have had an amazing experience, but then do you really want to work with someone who has deliberately
I would have
done
had
that
a bad
to you?
experience.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been
that
good.
like last minute did
exactly,
you know, changed it completely.
Exactly.
And like it wouldn't
have been great, and I would have been stuck in a situation and I wouldn't have found what I wanted now.
Exactly.
So
your time would have been invested into something else that, like, you're, you know, and not going towards what you actually wanted.
Well, yeah,
just because out of fear.
Yeah, exactly, out of fear, where I felt like I don't have any other options. But you always do. You do. And I definitely think patience is one of the biggest thing. And I definitely think it's hard. Like, I'm an impatient person. It's hard to wait, especially when I want something's on my mind. I obsess over it until I get that. Nothing else matters, and I stress out all the time. So, and I know a lot of people feel exactly the same way, and they're always in that situation. So
I know you say that you stress out all the time, but I hardly ever see you stress. I think you handle it so, like, your exterior is so like composed and calm.
Internally I'm
I can never tell if Simi's stressed. I know when she's excited, but I can, like, you just seem like you can execute and like do things so flawlessly, and like it's just so calm. Like, I don't know, and there's so much grace, but like I've never seen you stress. Like, I
think I had this conversation with someone before, because I was like,
that's crazy that you're saying that. Like,
it's
but
true.
I like, even though I know that obviously everyone goes through stress, but I've never seen you like panic and in, like, you know, like I don't know, like, you know, all up, like all going,
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't know what the word is, but
No, I
like,
get what you mean, because
frantic,
well, with
kind of.
me, all my emotions are laid out on the table. My heart
Yeah.
is on my sleeve. I
Yeah.
wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'm not good at hiding anything. But when it comes to like stress or anxiety, like, it's not even me hiding it. It's like my body just does not know how to process it. It just doesn't. Everything is internalized. It's like locked up.
Yeah.
And I stress out internally, but externally I'm like,
You're chill.
and I've been in situations where like, Simi, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, but no, I'm having panic attacks in the middle of the night because I'm not fine. But I think I genuinely think I'm fine. I'm like, no, I'm not stressed at all. And then my mind is like, nah, yeah, no, you're stressed. You're stressing me.
Oh yeah, your body. Okay, so even if your mind doesn't feel stressed, or you feel like you're not you're not stressed, your body knows.
Your body knows. 100%.
If you're having panic attacks at nighttime, if you can't sleep at nighttime, or if you're completely exhausted at nighttime and you completely knock out, your body knows. Or
your
if
body knows.
Like, if there's pain in your body, like, your body can't lie, but your mind can lie.
Your mind can lie, because that's what me. Mine is, everything is I don't like, yeah, I don't stress out in kind of like just a,
yeah,
where you see it.
Yeah.
Mine is always happens through, yeah, my body's the one that feels it first. So for me, like, I won't be able to sleep. I suffered for like months with insomnia, but that for me was stress.
Yeah.
So that's how stress. But in the more day, I'm like, I'm completely fine. I'm not stressed. I'm like, you are stressed because you've had like 3 hours of sleep every night for like 5 months.
Yeah.
So like that's how like mine kind of shows itself.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm peachy. I just can't sleep. But I don't know what that's related to. It's like, figuring it out. I think that's what stress looks like. Stress looks like for you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you were saying, like, fear. There was a lot of fear about not getting something else.
Yeah,
and that
not
got you
getting
really
something
stressed.
else, and that kind of, that got me really stressed, to a point where I was willing, like, even before going into the situation, I was already unhappy. So I'm like, imagine before even starting a job, you're so unhappy with it, then you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy, like, I was able to be like, no, actually, absolutely not. No,
no, thank you.
No, thank you. Take it, be gone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go back to the depths of hell where you belong. You ain't coming to test me.
Yeah, and then, like, literally, like, 2 weeks later, or maybe even a week later, you were offered something even better and exactly what you wanted.
Literally,
at
and
that time.
then, everything offered multiple things at the same time, which was like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I'm so happy I like was patient and I waited.
And listen to your heart.
And listen to your heart as well. Listen
and
to your gut instincts.
Yeah.
If your gut is telling you like, no, these are bad people, they are bad people. Like, just, I think it's very important, because kind of we ignore that a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
And I definitely think it can be very difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
Corporate world is very difficult to navigate. It's stressful.
Yeah. Slightly stressful.
It's slightly stressful, not very stressful, but it can be slightly stressful, especially like, we were fresh out of college. I mean, we didn't have a great time of coming out of college during 2020.
Yeah.
Or in the midst of it, and a lot of people who did, whether it was from work or college, 2020 was tough for anybody. So I guess that on top of everything else, but
yeah, have the patience and, like, have the faith that you will get what you want and deserve at the very end. Honestly, you know, I think personally, I think I manifested, like, always. Oh, what was that?
I couldn't find I manifested in your music.
Siri is acting up. Siri, we're not talking to you. Be gone.
I'm just going to tell her to go away. That's all right, silly.
Goodbye, Siri.
Goodbye.
She comes up when you're not even talking to her.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm in a situation now where I am working from home, and it's exactly what I've imagined it to be. But I've literally been thinking about it since I was like 15 years. Like, I knew in my mind, like, I knew, like, my future plan was always going to be working from home. Maybe like 2 or 3 days in the office.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been working from home. So I feel like I got exactly
what you wanted.
What I wanted, but with a lot of, like, saying no and saying thank you and moving on as well.
I love that. Saying no.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
We encourage you to do more of it, actually.
Yeah. Like, I remember I was approached as well for a different role, but, like, in a law firm as well. And at that time, like, that, like, it was, I think it was like a contract, temporary, like a a temporary.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, what is that? A temporary contract where it's like you're covering someone who maybe is on maternity leave. I don't know, but anyway, it offered like a full-time role pay and above, and I don't know, like, but it was like a year and it was 18 months, and I could have done it, and I like could have, you know, put that on my CV, but I don't know why at that time I didn't mean to say it, but it just came out, and I was so shocked. Like, I think when I was talking to like the recruiter, I was like, yeah, I just really enjoying my role right now at the internship.
Yeah.
Like, it just came out, and then that was when I knew, like, oh, I'm probably not going to go through with this.
Yeah.
And then I let them know the next day, and I was like, thank you very much, but I'm not going to go through with this. And then that's fine then. So yeah, it's just like really listen to her, and like you'll know when the time is for you, and don't be afraid to say no and thank you, and listen to your heart, and then move on when it's appropriate for you.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
completely agree.
Yeah, so I guess like I just like, because I was very not precise. I was very like picky about what I wanted to do and what I didn't want it to do, and that's why I only applied in like social enterprises and like service trade firms. And then later on I found an amazing company. Well, it came to me actually.
Yeah.
And that's in the beauty industry, health. I love that, and very like they care about sustainability, well-being, and like everything that like that just agrees with my core values. So I was like, well yeah, no brainer. Thanks. Thank you. So yeah, it like I honestly believe in just not waiting, but like actively taking steps towards what you want to do, and that includes saying no to things that doesn't align, and being very precise or like very nitpicky with certain things that is important to you. So that's what I think. Like I felt like I've always like lived like anyway in this regard anyway, where like I will completely rule out something that's a no, and then like if that's a yes, I can like slowly walk towards that.
100%.
So yeah, it's just kind of like being really patient, listening to yourself, and not being afraid. Don't let fear take you. I like had another kind of like anxiety like situation like just yesterday as well. My friend was telling me as well, she's Christian, so but she's put it in beautifully as well. Like she said that you know, like I can't remember what she said, but she gave me like a verse from the Bible, and it was like God didn't create the spirit of fear or something like that. And I think that's so true. Like why do we put ourselves through so much fear and anxiety and worry? Like it's so unnecessary. We're not in war. Chill, girl.
This is not the war. Exactly. Yeah, no, I feel like we allow fear to have way too much power in our lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like, it paralyzes you to kind of make this it paralyzes you in ways where like some people are just not able to like kind of move forward from it and make the right decisions for your happiness, because of like you're scared for the wrong things. You're scared of the wrong things.
Don't be afraid. Literally just think back to when you were a child. You were so fearless, and just live with that tenacity, I think.
Exactly, because really, especially when it comes to all this and the extra stress, I'm like, really, what is the worst that can happen? You know, I sometimes I remind myself, like, what is the worst that can happen? No, seriously, answer that question. I'm like, yo, no, that's true. Actually, it's not as deep as I'm making it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting way too much, I'm giving it way too much power, and putting it way too much,
like put too much focus and pressure.
Too much focus on pressure on that fear and that failure.
We're just human beings, and we do human being things, and we stress ourselves out when it's so necessary.
Exactly. And I feel like the biggest thing that probably learning was like probably how to manage that.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm just like, yo, that takes control of everything. And then all the decisions that I make is coming from all the decisions you end up making starts to come from a place of fear, which is the wrong way to make any sort of decision. And I feel like that just ends up going, you just, at the end of the day, you just don't end up being happy and you don't end up in happy situations or in a company that aligns with everything you actually wanted, because you were able to move forward and not make decisions at a place of fear, because if you did, you would have missed out on an opportunity that would have fit perfectly for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So biggest learning is like, don't move with fear. Don't move with fear. I don't know how to put it nicely. I was like, don't make decisions from a place of fear, and don't let fear dictate
your actions. I'll just be brave and really like live, like listen to your soul and just like go for, like, if there's a reason why you're like, oh, this is not it, but I have to do it. If your inside is telling you this is not it, chances are this is not it. Like,
exactly.
But your body knows best. I think that is kind of like all we have to say for this anyway, for today, in regards to taking it easy. Don't let your fear dictate what you do and how you feel, and anxiety. There will always be better things for you, and they're always coming towards you.
Exactly.
Just gotta believe it.
Have faith that, again, I've said this so many times, have faith that what's meant for you won't pass you. And I've said that, like, especially friends who've been stressed out for like jobs, interviews, and I was like, you've worked so hard, and you have to have faith in yourself and in the process. Just because I'm saying what's meant for you won't pass you, that doesn't mean it's just like, okay, then I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to sit back, put my feet up and wait for the universe just to hand me exactly what I deserve. It doesn't work like that. But I've done as much as I can, and I have to have faith that this is going to get me to where I need to go. I've done all the steps, I've done everything I need to do, I've done all the preparations. If it does not work out, I have to trust that maybe this isn't it, and maybe there's something so much better around the corner. And for me, I always find that I always see patterns. I guess I'm the person that looks for patterns in so many different things. So for me personally, obviously it's not the same for everybody, but just to use me as an example, for me, whenever things just kind of fail and don't work, for some reason it happens in a way where something falls through before something amazing comes. Like something always happens where I'm like, oh my god, like, what's going on? Like, and I get upset. Like, something always happens, like, especially with that terrible situation with that company. It literally, that happened, and then literally in no time something else kind of came through. And it's kind of like that idea of like kind of not giving up and being like, oh, I really wanted this and I really thought this would be it for me, and it just didn't work out. But I trust that there's a reason it didn't work out, something better, and something always ends up coming around the corner. It's better, and sometimes it's not going to happen a week later, it maybe it's not going to happen a month later. It takes time, and this is where we talk about patience coming in and being like, I've done the work, I'm going to see the reward. Just need to be patient to see that reward.
And I think one thing that I really learned, like I learned from you, was like, even though that situation had happened to you, literally like, I don't know, like an hour or 2 hours, like 2 hours before we were on the phone, she was going on a walk. Like, you were on a walk, and you were like, we just ended up, like, you were telling me the situation, and she told it to me in such a funny way, and like, I was like, Simi, you sound completely fine. Like, but you were just like, and you were like, oh yeah, but this is not for me, I know that, and I'm ready to move on. It's not like, it's upsetting, but we move, and like,
exactly, it can't dwell.
It's not the end of the world. And I learned a lot from you. I was like, wow, like, just having that like amazing like optimism and like understanding that this is not your fault. It's obviously them being shady, and you understood that, and like, you didn't let that like take you down or make you feel bad about yourself. So I was like, oh my god, I've so much learned from Simi, and like, it inspired me as well. So I just wanted to say that as well, because you mentioned that, and I remember that feeling that you gave me during that time.
Really?
Even though it must have been horrible for you, but like, but you made me feel so empowered in a way as well.
I didn't know that. Oh well, thank you, I'm happy to
exactly.
But I think that's the biggest thing. I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do that before, because like, I'd go and start panicking, and I'd stress out, and I'd be really upset. I would have been really upset
you would be,
by that like a couple years ago. But I feel like, again, you need to learn it's about learning how to handle these situations and being able to let go. I love what you said, where it's just like, it's not my fault. I did exactly what I could do.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I feel like we spent so much time dwelling, and that's when you miss opportunities, which I find. You miss opportunities when you're dwelling on something that didn't work out.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for a reason. It saved you. And I'm literally so happy. And I'm like, it happened the way it should.
Yeah.
That whole situation, I learned so much coming out of that. I'm
Exactly.
like, I needed to go through that situation, you know. I'm actually grateful for it. You know, sometimes you need to look at it and I guess, again, I'm a very glass half full kind of person.
Yeah.
So I'd naturally try and find the good out of like a really bad situation.
Yeah.
So I feel like, but for me, that has helped me handling situations like that. And if that's not the way you think, like, that's sometimes you need to even force yourself to be like, breathe, look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture and not focus on that little detail. That little thing that just didn't happen.
Exactly. Just know that you've been saved.
Exactly.
You were in like the situation,
the universe is working for you, not against you.
Exactly. That you weren't feeling good in it anyway, so you might as well not go in and enter into that like realm of like whatever you had bad feelings about. So you were actually saved. So so I think that is all for this episode.
That is all for this episode.
We hope that you can take something from our story, and that it, you know, maybe sheds a light on how we like look at opportunities and how we look at like our job hunts and like work and life at the moment,
and how to handle disappointment.
That was
when things
huge.
fall through. I feel like that was the biggest learning. So we hope you kind of took something from that, maybe something that you could use for yourself going forward, because there's always going to be nothing is ever going ups and downs. Nothing's ever going to be smooth sailing in any situation.
Up and down, left, right, back, upside down,
you know,
under
you're never going to go smooth sailing. And I guess, but that's a part of life. And I feel like we need to make the most out of all the situations we're in. And it's like, well, at least I'm living, right? You know, this is a roller coaster. I'm going to go back up. You know,
and don't let anyone take your precious time and make you feel sad and upset during that precious time of yours, because remember, your time is so important and valuable, and you should never let anyone take it and put you down and make you feel bad. So
that's it.
Okay, well, thanks very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and there's more coming, and make sure to check us out on all the other platforms that we are on. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter if you would like. You can always shoot us a message or ask for certain topics to be talked about or to be discussed. Actually, we're going to start creating this new segment called what is it called?
Therapy Thursdays, because again, as you've seen, we've had a lot of different experiences, and we know how difficult it can be sometimes, and we want to be able to kind of, if you have any questions, any concerns, even thoughts on your minds that you would love us to discuss, get our insights, advice, we'd be so happy to kind of go through them. So please, we're encouraging you to like follow us on Instagram, send us messages in our DMs. All our links is in our Instagram bio. You literally can email us as well, message us, and just anything you want us to talk about, anything you want answers,
they'll be anonymous.
Think of us, they're going to be anonymous. Think of us as your super cool sisters, your amazing 21st century agony aunts.
Hell yeah.
So we got you. So please send in, and we are going to try and kind of build them up, and then we will be coming out with content addressing anything you want us to talk about.
Anything that you would like us to chat about, and you know, if it's very hard for you to have that conversation with anyone else. Of course, we're not experts, we're not therapists, we're not counselors, but we can still kind of shed our light on it and our perspective on it if that helps
in a little way, you know.
Okay, so don't be afraid to leave us a comment or a message or an email wherever you'd like, and we'll put that in the bank, and hopefully then in the future then we'll start incorporating that then every week. Okay,
that was it.
yes, that was it. Like, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
We
As
do.
always, we're always open to feedback. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to hear from us. And yeah, that's it for now.
We will talk to you guys soon.
On the next one.
Bye.
Bye.